Welcome back to Parking Lot Takes. That's Brandon. I'm Christian.
Daredevil, Born Again Season 1 might be over, but the conversation just started. Dude, you know something that's been living rent-free in my head all week?
Yeah, I think we're thinking the same thing.
You think so?
Yeah, ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy freaking birthday, dude.
Yes.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday yesterday.
Yes. So we are a day late on our Daredevil viewing.
Yes. We are.
We didn't think that through.
We are late.
I was like, I don't care. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Oh, frick.
Yeah, we're a little day late because I forced you to come to dinner with some friends of ours.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
We talked shop. I'm so sorry I talked to you about the podcast.
So I didn't care.
Okay, I felt so bad.
No, don't feel bad at all.
I was like, we literally chatted about the podcast on your birthday.
It's so funny. I don't care. No, why would I care about that on my birthday?
I don't know.
Like my favorite thing in the world right now.
You have other friends there. I don't know.
Yeah. They need to know about the podcast. They're not as cool as us anymore.
Second to Audrey, of course.
Of course, yes. Of course, I was getting married and everything.
Yes.
Clip
But like
that out.
that might be temporary. The podcast is
We don't know if it's going to work out. But the podcast will.
The podcast will survive.
Just
YouTube's
kidding.
forever.
Love you, babe.
Marriages come and go.
Marriages, divorces.
YouTube will be a staple.
We'll be here for the end of time.
Yes.
That's funny. Yes, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you have a good birthday?
I had a great birthday.
Yeah.
It was a really good dinner.
It
was really good. Yeah, it was a new
good.
spot. It was really fun.
Dude, I would love to film in one of those booths.
Oh, that'd be
A huge booth with like the big paintings.
Yeah. Because it's like one of those round booths, and they're like massive. And you just like...
I would like to have
sit back
our
and chill.
waiter on. She was great.
She was great.
She was fantastic.
W takes on the Batman.
Now, how do you feel that she called your fiance baby?
I was ready to throw hands.
Yeah, I thought so too. I don't know, how do you handle that?
I think I handled it like a champ and ignored it completely.
They said they were married.
Yes, that's true.
They're engaged to a woman. They told us that. And then they turned around and went, "What for you, baby?" I'm like, "You're going to take that? You're going to take that?"
It's my birthday. Come on.
It's your birthday. Come on. Don't
make me feel like that. That's funny. It was a good time, though.
She provided our table as well. She brought
She put food on the table.
cheese poppers.
Free beer cheese poppers.
Yep.
Dude.
And you look so bad, dude.
On my birthday, too.
On your birthday. She was a genuine treasure.
Yes.
She was great.
She was
amazing
sweetheart.
service. She was awesome. So funny.
Yeah. It was
one
really
of
cool.
my favorite waitresses I've had at a table.
Seriously,
for sure.
yeah. And
Very kind.
came to the aid and defending of the Batman from one of my friends' takes. Oh, yeah. The beloved. Your beloved. Please don't caress him.
I'll touch him all I want.
I don't like where your finger was. Yeah, that was funny, though.
That was
quickly
very
chimed in
funny.
when my buddy was not a fan of the Batman. She was like, "What? Hold up. Let's talk about this." I thought that was hilarious.
He was the... I don't want to talk about...
Love you, Sam.
Sam was great.
You can have opinions.
He just threw an opinion out there and refused to defend it. And I was like, what about this? What about this? He would not talk to me about it. I was getting so aggravated.
It's so funny. Partly
maybe because he got yelled at by a waitress.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
We all did kind of look at him and go, what?
That was a great... Let's give the take. His take, Sam, what's his last name?
Simons.
Huh?
Simons.
Oh.
Should I say that out loud?
No. We'll call him...
That's not his actual
Josh.
last name.
Well, no, we'll call him Caleb Clark.
There
Caleb Clark.
Caleb Clark said
At the Borough said that he didn't like the Batman. He thought it was terrible. He couldn't stand it because Batman
didn't fight enough.
Specifically, he said, "I want to see Batman punch people in the face."
Well,
wrong.
There is an opening scene.
There is an opening scene where he
brutally beats
a guy
people
so freaking hard it freaks everybody out.
I'm vengeance.
It like, what do you mean? And then there's the club. Then there's He punched Jim Gordon in the face.
That's right, he did.
Okay. Then there's all the stuff at the Iceberg Lounge, and there's the stuff with the Riddlers. Weird complaint. And then to be like, I like the Nolan Batman movies. Oh, yeah, this guy. Batman. No.
I mean, respectable to love the Nolan Batman movies.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like it's more Tony doesn't like.
Sure.
I think the Tony just struggles.
That's a weird complaint. It's a bad complaint.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to be like mean. He's not here to defend himself, but I'll say it's bad because there was no defense to when scenes were brought up.
Yeah.
There was just like
we were in a dinner setting.
I just like it.
I'll give him the credit.
Yeah. Caleb Clark's the worst.
I can't wait for our friends to watch this episode.
Do they watch?
Yeah. Oh. It's going to be so great.
Oh, frick.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to matter.
We'll call him Harry.
No, it's fun. It was a fun
good time. Yeah, Rent Free. What's been living? We've already talked about it. But go ahead and say your piece.
Call on me. Absolute banger, baby. Dude. The opening to Warfare, I guess, spoiler alert, is living rent free in my head. A24, they released the clip of it, of just the opening 5 minutes of that movie. And it's just, I've watched it 14 times. It's such a good opening to this movie. And then I started thinking about the movie more, and I'm absolutely confident that this movie sits in my number one spot for the year so far. I feel very confident about it. The more I think about it, the better it gets.
You gave a take on how the opening shot plays into the rest of the movie. I really want you to give it.
Oh, absolutely. So that's what I've been thinking about a lot this week is I think at first when you watch it the first time, it's so jarring that you're a little thrown back. But when I start to think about it, I genuinely think it's just masterful because you open the film on such a happy note. You see the squad. If you haven't seen this, some spoilers a little bit for just kind of the opening. But you see the squad, they're hyped, they're getting excited. And it's just so artistically interesting. And it just sets such a precedence for the film because you have this moment of brevity, it's light, it's fun. You see this camaraderie between these guys. And then the moment that scene's ended, you don't breathe for the entirety of the film. And it sets such a good tonal shift to really give you this dread, essentially. Because this isn't it's not or it's not pro-war. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say it's necessarily anti-war either, but it definitely shows you the hardship of war. And so I think this opening scene is such a good contrast to what the rest of the film is. And you actually had a good point too. That's probably something that actually happened. I think that's a memory.
Yeah.
And so it's so cool to think that they had that moment. And in contrast to the rest of the film, I think it's so genius. It just sets up the film so well. Yeah. It's not a shot of them. It's very serious. They're infiltrating something, and it's very, war film. It's such a different thing than what we've seen typically before in war movies. And I think it's so genius. It's so good. And I've just been thinking about it all week.
I think one of the things I love about it is it builds instant camaraderie between the soldiers.
Yeah.
And they have instant chemistry.
Yeah.
And you instantly in that opening scene, without the characters saying a word, you instantly like all of them.
Absolutely.
And you instantly understand who Joseph Quinn's character is, and you instantly understand Will Poulter's character.
Yes, because he's standing in the back. He's a little more stoked, but he's laughing.
Exactly. You instantly understand they actually...
He's a team lead.
Exactly. You instantly understand every character in that opening shot.
Yeah.
Going for it for the rest of the movie. It is a genius decision.
Yeah.
I watched it in the theater and I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
But not because I was putting this piece together. I was just like, that's so fun.
It's different.
I love doing that for this type of tone. But then you watch the movie and you think back on it. And you're like, that moment perfectly describes each of those characters.
Mm-hmm. And just perfectly opens the film to give you, those characters, how they react, you get a feel for them, and then it just builds off of that essentially as they're going through hell, essentially.
I really wanted to talk about this movie again because honestly, it's so freaking heavy, and
yeah, it is hard. Honestly,
it would have been a movie that would have benefited on me sleeping on it. Yeah. I woke up and said way nicer things. Like, not that I was I wasn't negative on it whatsoever, but I talked about it more with more enthusiasm.
Yeah.
To other people.
I did too.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
like talking about this to Audrey,
right?
It sounded so much more positive.
I was in a wedding. Shout out Leighton and Bethany. Congrats.
No,
I'm not gonna say that.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, that's funny.
All right.
You can't.
They're on their honeymoon right now. You know what that means?
Yeah, we do know what that means.
Yeah. They're doing an escape room. You just told me.
Oh, that's great. That's really fun. What are they doing after the escape room?
I know. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Dude. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. Before I'm married.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Let's move on from that conversation. That's hilarious.
Yeah, we won't say it.
Yeah, we won't.
Cherry's been popped.
Congrats.
I don't know what that means. Congrats.
Friend of the podcast.
But no, we were at a bachelor thing, and we were all just sitting around. I was talking about warfare. Yeah. And I'm like, why didn't I have this energy and this love for it?
Yeah.
I loved it. I just was visibly like, you saw that I loved it so much more than when we talked about it.
Yeah.
I think it's just because it's such a, like, you feel exhausted after watching it.
Yeah.
And so when you come into it and I'm like, this is the most realistic experience you could ever receive. There's so much care and thought that goes into this. It's directed by an Afghani an Afghanistan war veteran.
Yeah.
And it's
he was there with them.
It's the most realistic experience, the most realistic war story you're ever going to receive. Yeah. They accomplished so much in the movie. Absolutely. It's honestly so impressive. I still would keep it at 2. I think it's going to be very hard to beat at 2. I just loved Black Bag.
Yeah.
That was like not on my radar. You suggested it. We went and saw it and I was like, wow, this is what like movies are missing and storytelling's missing, like this
intricate storytelling.
This type of stuff. But man, it's
just a marvel.
It's beautiful.
I mean, I will say all week I've been thinking about like the sound design and the experience in the IMAX. Like that first gunshot that you hear shakes you to your core. And I'm like, that's just masterful like crafting of sound design. And that's just what makes part of this movie such an incredible experience and so realistic. I almost like, I kind of told you, like I want to experience that again. Like I don't, but I want to sit in the theater and kind of feel the atmosphere that it kind of presents for you and kind of that intensity again. It's not an IMAX anymore, so I can't see it. But I think tonight's the last night. But it's just such a good
It's experience. So good. Everyone should definitely have gone and seen it in IMAX. It's such an experience, but still go see it. It's. I really want this movie to get its flowers. Looks like it is getting its flowers.
I think so. It's definitely getting. I don't want to get into like a political conversation, but it is getting a little bit of hate from people who I think with war films in general are a little concerned about it, that it glorifies war. But I don't think that at all.
That's a wild take.
I've seen some interesting like Letterboxd reviews and people talking about it.
No, it does not.
I think if you watch this movie, personally, I think you clearly see that this is not a like war propaganda film. You do not leave this and say, I want to go sign up for the military. It shows you the horrors of war.
Yeah.
So I don't think it necessarily takes a political stance one way or the other, but it absolutely does show you that war is awful. It doesn't say like the reason the soldiers are there are for a good reason. It doesn't take any stance on that. It just shows you a scene, a moment, a time period that these soldiers go through, and it's horrific.
That's a terrible take. That's a terrible point. I mean, that's just so stupid. One of the things I walked out of that movie thinking was, wow, this is like super morally wrong when you think about it in the context of, yes, it's war, but they endangered that family and that house.
Absolutely.
By choosing that house.
That's just going to be our camp.
Yeah. And they put that family at risk. They could have died.
Yeah.
They had an or they had tanks blow up their house.
Top of their house, yeah. And they left and they said, I'm sorry.
And they left.
That's it.
Yeah. Like,
so it's hard.
That left me, I think that was meant to be there.
Yeah.
To leave me in a sort of like, wow.
Wow, there's collateral damage there. Yeah.
You don't see that. And that makes you question, like, what are we doing? Like, not to take a political stance, but I think that, like, they did not, I don't think they watched the movie. I think they watched probably the trailer
and made a decision
based on that. Because if you actually watched it, they make a point to look at this family who did nothing wrong, who didn't ask for anything.
They spent a lot of time on the family.
And show that because of just a random decision that they put their lives in danger. They wrecked their lives, all their belongings gone on a decision, and then they leave.
Yeah.
And I think
covered in blood.
I think that is a point. Like, they're trying to show. They're trying to show you that. So that's a terrible point. I mean, like, I don't want to be political. I'm not saying that's dumb either way. I'm saying in the movie, they do a great job of showing
this is not good. This is not a good thing per se. I think some people, from what I've heard, there are some individuals that think putting war in film in general is glorifying it. I don't necessarily agree with that position. So that maybe they didn't see the movie and they're just saying, like you said, I watch the trailers, I see this is just another war film, and they just kind of feel that way. But I think this movie is not pro. I could think of some movies that are a little bit more pro, like military.
Absolutely.
And absolutely end on that note of you feel patriotic. This is not one of those movies.
I do watch slasher and think, yeah, we're encouraging serial killers by watching. Yeah.
But you don't.
Let's get rid of the whole horror. No, I don't. I don't think that at all. Let's just get rid of the entire horror genre.
Yeah. Yeah, because then we're glorifying a lot of awful things.
Yeah. Never watch a horror movie in your life.
Don't dress up for Halloween as a serial killer.
No.
So it's just an interesting. I do think it's interesting that is some of the discourse around it, because I did not feel that way at all coming out of the movie.
I thought for the first time I was like, oh yes, finally a movie that depicts like the realism that is like, is this right?
Yeah. It's a gray, like it leaves you thinking. And that's one of the things that I loved about this movie, honestly, is that a lot of war movies I watch, I either think it really, really gripping, really interesting. I don't think about it. I've thought about this movie all week, like genuinely at different moments, outside of just the fun opening. Like I have thought about some of the moments and just kind of dwelled on it. Like, wow, this is more interesting in some ways and what they're trying to show you than some of the other movies, because a lot of them do just feel like action thrillers. This doesn't feel like that. It is trying to tell you something, and it does leave you thinking. And I like that. I like when a movie can do that for me. When it can have me thinking about it for days after I watched it, I give it points. I think that's great. It did something more interesting than just to feed you an entertaining experience.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's a great movie. Whew. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Maybe I missed something on the glorifying war thing. I think it purely is like making you live in the horrors of it. So
I thought that too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Want to talk a little bit about what we've been watching this week?
Let's do it.
What have you been up to, man? I've actually this week got to watch a little more than I have in the past.
I have been on a tear.
Yeah.
This week. I did something incredible for myself. I watched Arcane. We've talked a little bit about this.
Oh my gosh.
Hot take. Arcane is better than Invincible.
I can't speak to that.
I know you haven't seen it.
But I think it's crazy from what I know of people saying about Invincible.
I think Arcane's better than Invincible.
In one season?
In one season.
Wow. I mean, people adore Invincible.
Oh, I know.
People also adore
Arcane. I think I'll get a lot of hate for it.
But I think I hear more discourse about Invincible than I do Arcane.
Here's why,
and I think Arcane deserves more.
Absolutely. And here's what I'm going to give it.
I haven't watched Invincible, though.
Here's what I'm going to say about Invincible. Yeah, it's good. it's a great comic and it's a good adaptation. Animation is not great. Motivations are weird. They're very wishy-washy on abilities and powers and who can do what and how invincible Mark actually is throughout the whole series. Mm-hmm. The story's okay. It's good. Story's good. Invincible's got heart. It's got epic moments. Arcane has all of that times 7. The animation in Arcane is absolutely insane.
Incredible.
It is a
Marvel
animation achievement.
Yeah, it really is.
It is so incredible, and it's an original story and not an adaptation. So that matters because Invincible's just adapting a comic that's already super. Not saying it's not they don't have to change things and make decisions, but it's just, to me, it's just more impressive that an original story that's also a video game adaptation.
Yeah. Which is very loosely
extra impressive.
Yeah.
On top of that, the animation is insane and incredible.
Absolutely.
The storytelling, voice acting is stellar, incredible. People always talk about Invincible voice acting.
Yeah, let's talk about Arcane.
Watch Arcane. They're both incredible. Good. They're both good. But the animation's so much better than Invincible. It honestly gives no excuse to how bad the animation is in season 3 of Invincible. Yeah. How creative Arcane is blows my mind. How
the
cinematic and the shots and the depictions of the fights and there's
the use of colors and it's so masterful.
Word. There's a scene where like the sisters fight for like the first time and they're like for the first time going at it and they smash through this pillar, and on this pillar is a painted picture of the two sisters when they were younger, holding hands, and it shatters, meaning like that relationship's gone.
I just got goosebumps.
Wow. Oh my gosh. There's nothing like that in Invincible at all. Go watch Arcane.
Yeah.
It's, in my opinion, I understand why someone would like Invincible more. Arcane is so much better. I really feel like that.
It's one of the best seasons of television.
Excellent. Now, 2 more things. Mm-hmm. Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn needs to be so Brandon Sanderson has been looking for a while to adapt Mistborn into a movie, I think, or TV show. Yeah. Brandon Sanderson, please consider hiring the Arcane studio to do Mistborn. Oh my word. The world in Mistborn feels so similar to the world in the Arcane, what they set up.
Does it have like some like the what is it called? The punk,
the steampunk French
vibe,
French architecture type vibe.
Yeah,
it does. In my opinion, I read it like that, so it feels like that.
Oh wow!
The underworld in Arcane to me feels like the world in Mistborn.
Interesting.
I think they should do it. Please consider doing it. You could do it like that. Would be so cool. Well. And the animation just allows, like, actually, finally, a studio like Spider-Verse takes advantage of it being an animation.
Yes.
Invincible absolutely does not. Yeah. It does not take advantage.
It just adapts.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily do anything maybe revolutionary or just interesting. It's still great,
but it's also a comic that's already wildly successful. Gotcha. I still think Invincible's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, because it's an adaptation, I'm not taking any points, but I am giving points to Arcane.
Because the animation the
animation's insane, and it's an original story that they are writing. Mm-hmm. Season 2, I'm about to finish season 2. I'll say this. I started season 2, I was like, no, it dips. It's not strong. It doesn't keep it up. That's why people don't talk about it.
Changed quickly?
No, changed about... just boom, like I don't even know what to say. Oh my word, it just got absolutely incredible.
I haven't seen season 2 yet,
it's
so I'll have to watch it.
In the first few episodes, I was like, what is happening? And then it was like, oh my gosh, Arcane's so good. It made me, basically, I sat down and made a list of my favorite animated shows of all time.
Animated shows?
Yeah. Of all time, I'm going to run through them real quick.
Do you have it ranked?
Yep.
Wow.
Numero uno. Avatar: Last Airbender.
Fair.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's
so good. Number 2, Arcane.
What?
Arcane to me.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to redo this. I'm on a high right now.
True.
But I am blown away by this.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. I think it's very underrated because of the fact that I do not hear more people talking about it. I mean, honestly, I don't know how we can, like, how in the world is it? It's Netflix. It's a Netflix original series. Like, Netflix? Amazon can't, like, have good animation in Invincible. Good night.
Amazon's technically bigger than Netflix.
So here's where I think it'll go down. I think as that wears off, Clone Wars will come up. I think I have Clone Wars at 3. I think they could switch after the high wears
Understandable.
off.
Maybe if seasons sustain with Arcane,
sure.
maybe it would pop and stay in your 2 spot. But
I did make this list
before season 2.
Yeah, it might have been lower. Okay, last 4 Clone Wars really elevate. Invincible's number 4. X-Men 97's number 5. Batman animated series. I did something kind of unique. Batman animated series / Batman Beyond.
Okay.
Because they are.
I'll give it to you.
They're one big story.
I'll give it to you.
Is number 6. Justice League Unlimited is number 7.
Great.
First 2 seasons of Young Justice.
Yes.
Number 8.
Let's go.
Yes.
Dude,
Young
it's
Justice
such a good
is
show.
So great.
Oh my gosh.
The first 2 seasons are fantastic.
Yes.
It falls off
does.
on 3. It
does.
falls off so hard.
So hard, yeah.
Oh, man.
I tried to watch it. I stopped.
Unwatchable.
I trudged through and I couldn't do it.
Unwatchable.
I was so pumped too that it came back. And I was like, there's no way. I don't think I can keep watching this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I didn't finish it.
Seasons 1 and 2 are... Season 1 is so good. Season 2 is very good.
Because that was coming out when we were like kids. Mm-hmm. Like we were older kids. And I mean, I'm trying to think of when that first season came out. But I remember watching on Cartoon Network and it was the coolest thing. Watching it as an adult, dude, it's even better.
It's so good.
It's so good. Continue on.
Spider-Man animated series number 9.
Good one.
Classic.
That would probably be a lot higher
90s.
for me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just personally.
No, I mean I'm like a weird. I don't know how sentimental I am. I don't know.
I think
there's
I can admit I'm sentimental about it. I think
there's better Spider-Man portrayals. I think that's why I don't have it like as high. Also, it leaves on a big old cliffhanger.
True, yeah.
But if they come back and finish it like they do in 97,
dude, if they, it would blow my mind. If they did that, that would be amazing. They might.
Yeah.
I think they're focusing on other Spider-Man stuff, so they probably won't. But
number 10, Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls, what a curveball.
Gravity Falls is so good.
I was never on that train.
Are you serious?
To be honest with you, like I didn't watch a lot of it, so I can't really speak too much to it. But I watched enough episodes to be kind of like,
Oh, so you haven't seen like any of the finale stuff?
No. Mm-mm.
So the first 2 are like meandering.
Yeah.
3 and on is like, or 3 is just like.
Yeah. Where do you put the TMNT animated show?
Which one?
So the one, not the like original, the one from like the early 2000s.
I never watched that one.
What?
I know. You want to know the one I watched?
No. The one like after it?
No.
Wait, which one did you watch?
One. The one where they're in the future.
Oh. Why did you watch that?
It's just the one that came on. I don't know.
Dude, you need to watch it's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't know how well it holds up. But I just remember that being really good. It's like, it's kind of in that peak era of like Teen Titans, Justice League, where we were getting really good animation along with just like good stories, even though they were kid shows. And it's in that era. It's so good.
In that show, they say frickin'. My mom wouldn't let me watch it.
My dad did not like me to watch that because they say, what the shell? So I would sneak episodes in when my dad wasn't home.
Yeah.
Because he came in and they were like, what the shell? And my dad was like, what are you watching? Turn this garbage off.
I've seen more of the OG before that than I have of that one.
Like the old one?
Where they have like the turtle phones, like the shell phones and stuff. Yeah, that one.
That's old. That's from like the... Mm-hmm. That's the 80s or something like that? Wow. I've only seen
more
of
that one. I don't know. It never, like, this sounds so, like, lame to say. A lot of these shows I binged on Netflix. Like the old school. Yeah. So Justice League Unlimited, Batman Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Spider-Man Spider-Man animated series. TMNT was never on it, so I never got around to it.
I gotcha.
But I love TMNT, but that's why I just missed the train on it.
Yeah,
because I remember being like 10 or 11, and those all coming out. So I like Avatar was one of them. Clone Wars never came out. I own most of Clone Wars because of let me tell you this story. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited were binged on Netflix.
So you didn't watch those as a kid?
I watched them as they came out, but it wasn't like I never figured out. Like I've seen them sporadically, but
just popping.
These are all pretty much all the old school shows. I have gone back and
really
all the way
yes.
through. And like TMNT, I've definitely caught random episodes. I've just never gone and all the way. But dude, Justice League Unlimited could be, if I wanted to think about what just grabbed, not Justice League Unlimited, but what grabbed my life at the time, Young Justice grabbed me like by the throat, dude.
I thought you were going to say something else.
I was like, bro, what the heck?
Yeah.
Me and my brother were like, season 2, so we watched season 1 and then realized season 2 was coming out. We would like do random jobs to make 2 cents, $2 to go buy it on iTunes and watch the next episode.
That's so funny.
That, and it's so good. But that's how much we love season 1, and I do think season 2 falls off a little. Now they come back with the emotional tie-in at the end, but it's not as tight.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
and
fair.
so, they break up Miss Martian and Superboy, and she's dating Gil.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
right.
Beast is in it, and that's Garfield's okay. Zatanna's dad being Dr. Fate's so cool.
Yeah.
The Dr. Fate episode with
So
when
great.
he like takes Wally.
Yes.
Oh, I love Wally West. James Gunn, please skip Barry and do Wally West. I know you don't feel that way.
I really want a good Barry. I want a good Barry.
You had him. It's Ezra Miller. It's as good as it's going to get. I'm just kidding. You had it. It's Grant Gustin. No one else try. Do Wally.
I mean, I like Grant Gustin for what he did on that show, but it's not a movie quality Barry.
Why not?
It's just not. You think it is?
Yeah.
You think he's a movie quality Barry?
I think more people.
I think he's a good Barry.
People will look at him as Barry Allen the rest of his life.
True, but well, yeah. I mean, I would almost say with like those actors though, that becomes their defining role
in a TV show. That's not in a superhero TV show.
I think I look at Stephen Amell's Arrow.
Yeah, I think that just speaks to those shows.
Mm-hmm. I mean, don't get me. I like seasons like 1 through 3 The Flash a lot. I think some of the later seasons there's
3.
I like 3. Yeah.
Was Savitar?
Yeah, 3 is interesting, but I still liked it.
I hate how I'm a Wally guy, but I hate how they give Wally his powers being through like it's so dumb, the multiverse concept thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so stupid. Why can't Wally be smart, replicate the experiment, and then never be as fast as Barry?
Yeah, it's doable. I mean, here's what I'll say. If we do a Flash in this new DCU, and it was Wally West, I wouldn't be that disappointed. I wouldn't be. I want a Barry that I feel like is Barry because I did not feel like that with Ezra Miller, but I would be fine if it was.
I would love for them to kill Barry in the first Flash movie and it be Wally.
Oh, like do a Flash movie, another Flash movie, and that's interesting.
Just kill kind of like bring him in already established.
He's been Flash for a little while.
And kill
Wally's that'd be cool. That'd be interesting. I want him to do Flashpoint. That'd be sick.
They already did it.
I know, and it's perfect. I don't even need them to do a live action one. It'd be cool, but
I'm talking about the live action one. The Flash movie is Flashpoint.
Oh, you're right, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
I'm not saying that because I'm frustrated with you. I'm saying it because of how upset that I am that that's a fact.
Yeah, that's a good point. It sucks.
But yeah.
I forgot about that. Honestly, that movie, I watched it once, and I couldn't pick out a lot from it. I just know I didn't like it.
Let's get nuts and talk about what you've been watching.
Ooh, crazy. So, I've watched 2 things this week that really intrigued me and surprised me. So, I'm going to pitch you one anime series. Okay?
Okay.
Just started it. I'm only a few episodes in.
Okay.
It's a Netflix original anime series directed by the director of Attack on Titan.
Dope.
And this one you probably won't speak a lot to, but it is the character designs from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Never seen it.
Never seen it, but you probably know people love that.
Yes.
And it's a banger. It's called Moonrise. And basically the premise is Earth is expanded, like it's futuristic. Earth is expanded, and there's now an elevator between Earth and the moon, and we've inhabited the moon. The moon is now its own like city colony, but it's still kind of connected to Earth. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a separate nation. It's just another extended colony. A rebel leader on the moon rises up, severs the elevator, and the premise is there's a team of these like military specialists that are sent to the moon to infiltrate the rebel leader and take him down. Animation is off the charts, dude. It's so good. I started watching that, and it was a surprise. Netflix has had some banger anime originals. And I just thought it was so good. I don't know. I watched 3 episodes, and the characters were interesting. The action was good. The animation was really good. So that's one that I'm watching right now. I'm curious to kind of see where it goes.
That sounds dope.
It is really, it's very futuristic. They have like these really sick like cloak armors. Like it's like a fluid cloak, but they can like manipulate it. And they have these things on their arm that is like, it's almost like nanotechnology that will just like on command turn into like different guns and different weapons. And it's so sick.
That's cool.
Because each of them kind of have their own thing that they do. Like the main character, he like turns it in just kind of like a pistol. And then one of the guys turns it into like a sniper rifle, and some of them like blades. And so it's just, it plays on like colors and different weapons, and they have different fighting styles. And like there's this one scene on a train, and it's just so choreographed really well. And the animation is very fluid, and it just looks really good. And it came out of nowhere. I just randomly saw it, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me watch episode 1. And it blew me away. And I felt very validated because I started looking up to see if other people were talking about it, and they think it's good too. So I was like, sick. New anime to binge through. So yeah, that's one thing that I've been watching. And there's another one. I watched a movie. Have you heard of a movie called Dee Dee?
No.
So it came out last year. The only person I heard talk about it on like social media was a guy I follow, George Carmi. I really like his stuff. He has some really cool takes. Just seems like a really chill guy. And he was kind of praising it last year. And I remember him talking about it, but it was just not one that I was all that interested in or was on my radar. But I watched the trailer, and a couple nights ago, I was like, you know what? I'm down. It feels like a good movie. It is basically just a coming-of-age story. It's about this like young kid, early 2000s, which is super relevant because he's probably like 11 or 12 around like 2008, which I would have been about 10 or 11 around 2008. So it's set in that time period. So a lot of the things that are happening feel very nostalgic for like growing up in childhood. And the boy, he's grown up in like a Chinese family. He's like Chinese American. His mom, they're like immigrants and whatnot. And it's basically just about him like making his way through high school, like friends, flirting with a girl. He loves skating. He's like a filmmaker. And so he's like filming skate videos. And it's just one of those like heartwarming coming of age stories. And like there's some drama. He's kind of a bratty kid at times, but basically there's some stuff with the family. I don't want to spoil it per se, but it's heartwarming because he has such a good relationship with his mom, and there's conflict, but there's love, and it makes you feel good. And it's like they pay attention to like details about like YouTube when it's like early on, and like it shows it, and like him uploading clips, and it's like it's such a good feeling for someone I think my age, because I was growing up in that, and I was like on my parents' computer, like on YouTube, and it looked just like that. And I had a camera, and I was videoing things very much like him, and it's just like it just hit me like for what my childhood was like. And it's just such a good, it reminded me of mid-90s. Have you seen mid-90s?
I love mid-90s.
Dude, mid-90s is fantastic. It is essentially another version of mid-90s, but also just done really well. And just from like a different perspective as far as really playing into the family dynamic between like the relationship in him and his mom and him and his sister. And it's just a really good movie. It's short, it's tight, it's fun. It hits you all the feels for people probably like our age. And it just gave me the feelings that mid-90s did. And I was like, oh, this is a really good movie. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. Like, it was great. I really liked it. Now,
awesome.
It's not a movie I feel like I would be recommending to everyone to watch because it is a little bit more of a laid-back kind of drama. There's some comedic moments in it. I don't think it's one that everybody should rush to see, but I think if you're like our age, it's really going to hit home for you. Great movie if you're looking for like a coming-of-age story in that genre.
Dope.
You should watch it at some point. If you like mid-90s, you should watch it.
I watched mid-90s because Jonah Hill was so pumped about it.
I did too. That's the only reason I did. Because his interviews, I was like, this is worth watching. Because he's just so excited. And it was great. It was fantastic. It's shot very similar to mid-90s. Like, it feels, I don't want to say derivative. It just feels like it's in the exact same genre.
Okay. He gave Sonny a career too. Made him our Atreus.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
My boy.
My boy.
Boy. That's what
I've been watching.
I love it.
A little anime, some dramas. I've been trying to watch a little bit. I've been trying to watch some more, like, just stuff not on like the mainstream radar. That's what kind of drew me to DD this week. Is like I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. I've been trying to just like expand a little bit.
Cool.
Because we've it's been so fun. But we talked a lot about Marvel. We've seen a lot of the big stuff. But like Black Bag was so out of left field for me, and it felt different. I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I've been kind of like looking for other things.
Yeah. Sick. I watched something else this week.
Yeah,
because it was the 30-year anniversary for it. A Goofy movie.
No way.
Yeah, I watched a Goofy movie.
Is it still as fun?
It's so good.
It's been a while
I think
since
it has one of my favorite movie items ever in this movie because I watched it and was like, dude, I remember being obsessed with that as a kid. And it's when they go to like the motel and the water beds have the fish in it.
Oh,
I thought that like they were aquariums. As a kid, I was like, I needed that. And I was reminded about my obsession with waterbeds after seeing that movie. I was like, all waterbeds have fish in them.
That's so cool.
And I'm upset that it's not a thing now.
That's not a thing, yeah. Do you even have a waterbed?
No.
Come on, man. Wow. I don't either. I'm just kidding.
No.
It's been a while since I've seen that. I need to go back and watch
it's fun.
it.
It's very fun.
Sweet.
Definitely do another one.
That's a good one.
Use your IP, Disney.
Yes.
All right.
Use it.
All right. We're going to play Yay or Nay, introducing a new segment.
Okay.
Yay or Nay.
Yay or nay.
Where I'm just going to give you a question.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll both answer. Yay or Nay. I've prepped 5. And we'll go from there.
Right. I do want to, I want to hear what your answer to some of these are too.
Adapting. Well, how do you phrase this? Ghost Tsushima is getting a side anime series. Is that a good idea? Yeah or nay?
Yay.
Yeah, I'd say yay as well, but we'll count it down again.
Okay. Yay.
Is Ghost Tsushima getting a spin-off anime series? A good idea. 3, 2, 1.
Yay.
Yay. I think
so.
An amazing idea.
If it's the right studio and it's done well. Because with anime, it can go peak or it can go really off the rails quickly.
War of the Raheem, yeah.
Oh man. I think that's a big yay. I think that's
sick.
A sick opportunity to do some really. Here's what I will say though. You think they should go more realistic, keep it grounded, or should they really lean into anime?
Lean into anime
because
like
your
samurai stuff.
Okay.
So like I want to see someone unclip a sword and then show up on the other side, or unsheath part of a sword, show up on the other side of a bunch of enemies, sheath it, and everyone fall apart.
Just heads roll.
I need crap like that.
Because the game is not like that, obviously. It is a more grounded, like, samurai story.
Sure.
But I think if the anime really leans into the anime aspect of it, dude, it could be so sick.
I agree.
Because if they have that protagonist and he's just doing crazy fight sequences in anime, dude, that's great. Love that. Yeah.
All right. The in-game portal scene still hits the same today.
Yay.
You gotta tell me. Tell me when you have your answer.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Yay.
Nay.
Nay.
It does not.
I've watched it like 2 or 3 times since it came out in theaters, and every time I think it hits.
The same as in the theater?
Not as the first time in the theater, no.
I think it still hits. I just don't think it's the same.
Okay? If it's the same as the first experience in the theater, I'll change my.
I have 2 examples of things I think have not like gone down. So I think the portal scene is very, very cool. I don't think like there'll be it's a crazy, amazing moment. In my opinion, Andrew taking off the mask in No Way Home hits way harder consistently than the portal scene because of like I understand there's emotion going in an Endgame, but you just don't really feel it because when you're on rewatch because you're starting Endgame right after Infinity War.
Yeah.
We also didn't wait that long of a time in between those movies. I think had it been a couple years, you would be think more on that fact, maybe. But I also think, here's why I'm going to say no, is because it doesn't hit me like watching Lord of the Rings, like certain moments. They hit the same every single time, in my opinion, and they never get low. I think Endgame is more like, oh, I remember this was so cool. Like, I remember this theater. I think you're thinking more back on your theater experience than you're actually watching the movie and be like, yeah, this was so cool when it happened. Like, man, this was so sick. I remember being so excited.
I don't necessarily agree.
See, I think that Cap picking up the hammer hits.
I think it hits the same.
I think it's the same and then continues to hit consistently on rewatch.
I would say the portal does. I don't know. For my rewatches, Endgame, like, I recognize that Infinity War is a better movie, but like Endgame, I think I put it in my top 5, didn't I? When we talked through this, I'm pretty sure I did.
I have no idea.
I feel like I'm higher on Endgame just because of how it makes me feel. Like when we get to that portal scene, for me, I get emotional because it's like this is genuinely the culmination. I mean, I know everybody feels this way. But it's like the culmination of my childhood, of like everything we've been building to.
Yeah, well,
so for me, even on a rewatch, when I get to that portal sequence and everybody comes together and then we go into the battle, it's like I still get almost like emotional. Like I get chills even when I've watched it just sitting at home on Disney Plus. So I would say it does hit for me. I mean, that theater experience the first time, I really hesitate to say like it's that. But I do think it still really hits for me because I still feel that inside. I like, see, it's so good.
I watch it and I'm like, yeah.
I don't do that.
This was an amazing, I remember watching this. This was so crazy. This is so revolutionary. This is one of the biggest cinematic moments of all time. That's how I feel watching it. Every time Andrew takes off the mask, I cry.
That's, yeah.
That's a moment. And let's just talk theater experiences.
Yeah.
I got out of my chair, screamed, and jumped up and down when Andrew took his mask off.
Gosh, I wish we saw that movie together.
That did not happen in Endgame. Like, we were all... And it's not the vibe.
But
it's
that's
not the vibe.
You, though.
That's not the vibe. But I'm telling you, my entire theater seeing an opening night, no one did. Yeah. Everyone reacted more when Cap picked up the hammer. So
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So when the portal thing happens, yes, it's the culmination. It means a lot,
and it means a lot to you because Andrew's beloved to you,
right?
Yeah,
Portal,
which is fine.
I guess portal things happen in both movies.
True, that's right.
I was talking about
that's right.
Endgame.
Yeah,
but yeah, that does mean a lot to me. But I think about something like Lord of the Rings, where I don't even have to think about the first time I've seen it. I'm just thinking in the moment now. And whereas like Endgame, I'm like, which is, I think the Spider-Man reveal, it is a different emotion.
It is a different emotion.
On rewatch. Whereas I don't know that the portal scene is, so I think that emotion dilutes over time.
I think because Cap is so beaten down from fighting, it makes that portal scene feel so much more weight to it. Because specifically when he hears Sam, dude, it just gives me chills. Because I'm like, Cap is putting his life on the line here.
Yeah.
And they show up. And when I rewatch it, it still hits me in my freaking heart, dude. So I would say, yeah, it does. Yeah. It does hit for me still.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, this time I'll give you time right. So we can count it down.
Have you pooped your pants in the last 5 years?
Should I count this one down?
3, 2, 1, nay. Oh, let's go. You know how many surprising you know how many surprising yays I get to that?
Are you serious?
Dude, I know people who
just poop in their pants.
I know people who poop. We both know someone who poops his pants every year.
You tell me this right now.
Well, we'll give a fake name.
Give me a fake name. Oh, can it sound similar?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let me think it through.
We can move the mics, man. That doesn't surprise me one bit.
I'm like, how? Oh, I'm sorry. How? This year is his first year he's clean.
Good for him. Yeah. He's clean.
Hey, he's working.
Somebody get him his one.
Yeah. I don't know.
How do you just consistently once a year accidentally poop your pants?
I don't know.
What are you eating?
I have no idea.
What positions are you putting yourself in? Like,
I don't know. It depends if Henry Cavill is there or not.
True. No, your boxers would just come off.
All right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm glad you haven't. I thought you were going to say yay.
The Harry Potter series... How do I want to word this? The Harry Potter casting announcement is perfect. 3, 2, 1, nay. And I'm only saying that because I need to see it.
That's what I would say too. I was going to say I can't really speak to it because I don't know how they're going to embody these characters. Like when John Lithgow was cast as Dumbledore, right?
Yeah.
I just thought... So the most recent thing I watched him in was a show called Old Man with Jeff Bridges.
Yep.
Have you seen that show? Season 1 is really good. Very underrated. And that's the most recent thing I've seen him in, and I'm trying to picture him, and it's not a good comparison there, but I'm trying to think of something to picture him as Dumbledore, and I am struggling with it a little bit. But I think he's a great actor, so I think he could do it. But I need to see how he's going to play Dumbledore.
I watched an interview with him talking about it, and I got sold a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because he's just kind of talking about how it's going to define this last chapter of his life, and it wasn't a hard decision, and he made it very carefully. He's like, this is going to be like the last probably big thing I do. That makes me feel like he's going to give it a lot of care and love.
Yeah. That's cool.
But I feel like I saw when he was talking, I could see it. It's more so some of the other, it's just like, to me, it doesn't feel like a DC casting or something like that, where it's like, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. So it's hard to say. I am excited to see who they cast as Harry.
I am too.
Because the same guy who has the bowel control problem, he genuinely thought for the first time he watched it, thought and still fights for the fact that...
Oh, I know this, yeah.
Yeah, Snape is Harry's biological father.
Yes.
And I'm curious I just want to make sure they cast if they cast a white guy, I'm going to be like, ha, but if they cast a mixed guy, or whatever, or...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like. Yeah. It's a weird reason. I don't want him to have that ammo. To be like,
you can't do that.
To be like, look, see? So I don't want that to happen. But like, I don't think they're bad. I just, it's just you kind of gotta see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Number 3. Okay. HBO should have done a Joel and Tommy series before The Last of Us.
Okay. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Nay.
Yay.
I think nay because from my limited experience, what really brings people into The Last of Us is the Ellie-Joel relationship. Sure. I think Joel and Tommy's great. But I think if you're going to hook an audience to this show, you need the Joel and Ellie relationship. I think they could do something later with that and people would care. But I think you have to bring Joel and Ellie together first for people to care.
Yeah. I think at that point you'd be making it for the gamers, which I am. I'm the guy who played the game.
Yes.
So I would like something like that. I totally agree with what you're saying. I just think I have this take with a lot of adaptations. So let's put it like this. I adapted this question. I originally had this phrased for Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
Tell me. Let's do that. Should Harry Potter have done, instead of redoing all the Harry Potter movies, should they have done a prequel series with the Marauders going into the Wizarding War with Lily, James, Sirius, Dumbledore versus Voldemort, and really done like the Order of the Phoenix and stuff like that? 3, 2, 1. Yay.
Absolutely.
And so my argument with this is that gives you the excuse to then go and redo Harry Potter. Because if you do the Marauders and basically make us fall in love with Lily and James and Sirius and Dumbledore and do all of that faithfully, then because we haven't seen it before. Like, could you imagine we're like going through this prequel show and they're like, and we're doing Harry Potter.
Yes.
And then boom, we go into Harry Potter. You're already in love with all these people.
Yeah.
Right? You're in love with Lily and James. You have to see them die. And I think it would elevate the story so much. It would bring it up. And that then to me, that gives it a reason to do the show. And to do another, to adapt the show. Because then it's like, oh, you made me fall in love with Harry, James, Sirius. And like, imagine seeing Sirius go to prison.
Yeah.
And then come back in season 3, and I just think that could work. And I think that would be cool. So I thought about that. Because I asked a Harry Potter question and I wanted to ask a different question.
Yeah.
So I thought, I was like, well,
the difference
they could do a Joel. But my thought is like, I think in general, it is cool to tell a different story if you want to do the same world and then go and give greater context to the other.
Yes.
And that's kind of the theme, I think. I think, like, to your point, yes, people wouldn't have the buy-in or understand where we're going
because
necessarily.
This is a fresh property for people who haven't played the video games. For Harry Potter,
for me, it's not. So for me, it's like, oh, Joel and Tommy series, that's super cool. And then we're doing Ellie. That's sick.
Yeah.
So that I go back. I agree with you on The Last of Us, but in general, when things get adapted, I would like something different.
Yeah.
And I think if you do a little bit of like a prequel, season prequel setup to add greater context, I think that could help give life to more adaptations.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you because when they announced the Harry Potter series, I was definitely like, why are we making this?
Yeah.
Because we have the movies and they're so widely beloved and incredible. What is the purpose of this? Why are we doing this? I still don't really know why we're doing this. So I think to your point, if we were adding in a prequel series, it adds something different to the equation, not just retelling the Harry Potter story.
Yeah.
And lays the groundwork. So I like that a lot better than I would maybe a Last of Us prequel series.
All right. I'm going to end it there because we're already on Last of Us. So let's talk about The Last of Us.
Let's talk about it, yeah. So Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1 just came out Sunday.
I have one more question for you.
Go for it.
Sorry.
I'll say that again, but go for it.
Yay or nay? Mm-hmm. And this has to do with The Last of Us.
Sweet.
Is Isabella Marced the most up-and-coming actress in this next generation? Yay or nay? If you need to know who that is, you should tell me.
No, I do. That's Dina.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Yay.
Nay.
Really?
Hesitantly.
Okay.
I'm almost a yay. Because after seeing her in episode 1, I absolutely was in probably your train of thought of, shoot, she is crushing it right now. Like, she's doing a really fantastic job in this role, and she's been in some other really good stuff too. So I think she is a big up-and-coming actress. I don't know if I would say the biggest. I mean, I guess who I'm thinking in my mind that's younger is pretty already well established. Zendaya is well established already.
I'm not. That's different. I just can't look at this resume, bro. Alien Romulus.
That's what I remember her from recently.
Holy cow.
She crushed it. Did a great job.
And it's a great movie.
Great movie.
Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And she is...
Hawk Girl in Superman.
She is?
Yep.
Dude, I didn't even know that.
What a
W casting.
A last 2 years for her.
Dude, now... Seeing her as Dina, seeing her in Alien Romulus, dude, W casting for Hawk Girl. That's fantastic. I'm so on board with it more so now. I forgot.
That's why the Superman thing made me think I'm going to ask if she's the best up and coming.
Wow.
Because if she's the established Hawk Girl,
I'm so on board.
I think she could be. And she kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She was Dora.
Yes, I did. Did you watch that movie?
No.
I did.
She was Dora. She was in some other stuff, but Alien Romulus, Last of Us Season 2, and Superman, I mean...
All in a 2-year span? That's
a resume right there.
That is a resume right there. And she's young.
I mean, I would say let's say she's maybe the next Zendaya. I mean, Zendaya did Spider-Man, and then she turned around and did, Euphoria, Spider-Man, Dune.
And then she's gone to build a resume with some more interesting projects, and Dune, of course.
Sure. So, but I think I've just loved her in everything she's been in. Yeah. I think she's great as Dina. She makes Dina so much more likable than the game. You didn't play the game. I just remember being like, I like Dina in the show.
Yeah. So after watching the episode, I went back and watched clips from the game of that, and specifically, I guess this is getting into spoilers, but the most famous scene from that episode. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I went back and watched that, and I was looking at that, and I thought, I know it's difference between video game and live action, but I thought she's doing such a better job at being likable than what I watched from the game. So I think you're exactly right.
I think she's great. She's so funny. She has great delivery.
She's funny. She's likable.
I'm gonna have to shoot you in the face. Oh, it's so funny.
Great. Yeah, it's so good.
She's very good. She's probably, other than Pedro and Tommy, my third favorite character in the show right now. I'm very attached to her. I think she's doing an excellent job. So I'm very excited for her to be Hawk Girl, and the Alien Romulus. I thought Alien Romulus was excellent. So good.
Yeah. But sweet. Well, let's talk about The Last of Us. So, Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1 came out Sunday. We've both watched it.
We did both watch it. We're not going to rate it, right? I don't really want to. I don't really... It's hard for me to rate something like this.
This show is hard for me to rate because most of Season 1 is just going to be high ratings for me. And this one probably would be pretty high, too.
What would you rate Season 1?
Overall? Mm-hmm. Probably like a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for me as well.
It's not perfect, but it's it's one of... I mean... I don't want to say that. But it's an incredible season of television.
It's so good.
It's very, very good.
No, it's very good. I like it. But yeah, I struggle just because I've played the game, and it's okay.
So to be honest with you, I think that's such a fun perspective for us because I have very limited exposure to the game. I've watched some playthroughs like way back when, but I don't have attachment. So I'm really coming at this from the angle of as a TV show. Now I know how the game plays out because I'm just a nerd and I know these things. But I'm coming at it very fresh from the show, whereas you're coming at it from playing the games, having a lot of attachment to the games, really loving the games.
The first game.
So I think that's such an interesting perspective because of where I think this show is going. That's what I'll say.
I'll say there's two big deviations, in my opinion, is they already set up the Abby character in where the story is. You kind of are just thrust into playing her. You don't really know what she's doing in the game. You don't know that she's hunting Joel. You don't know any of that. So you're just kind of thrown in. And I believe, I won't spoil, but I do believe that they made some changes and they're setting it up, I think, maybe for an opportunity to deviate from the game, which is what I want. I was not happy, like many other people I know, was not happy with where the second game went. And just watching this first episode, one of the things I really wanted was maybe to put me at peace with that and feel like it's done better. I don't think it is. It feels like they're just sticking to their guns and doing it the same. But they changed Abby. They introduced her on early to add some tension, to add some stakes early on. That makes me feel like they're going to deviate from kind of what happens. So I don't know. We'll see. I probably will not be a fan of the show if the show does it and doesn't deviate from the game, because from what I understand, it made a lot of people unhappy. And what are we doing if you're going to adapt but you're not going to improve upon? And
yeah.
And a lot of people will probably disagree with me. I think if a decision is bad and there's an opportunity to remake it, just change the decision.
Do you feel like even though season 1 is so well adapted to what the game is, do you feel like it elevated the property?
Sure. Well, I guess that's a weird question. More people know about the story now than they did before.
I mean, the adaptation, like just the content. Do you feel like the care that they took, how they adapted it, elevated it, not hurt it? Like it being a 9 out of 10 show.
Yeah, it definitely didn't hurt it. I don't know if it ever could have been hurt, though, if the show was bad. I don't think it makes the game better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't think the game's drastically better because of the show.
I guess here's where I'm going with that is, if the show is executing the adaptation very well and delivering to where audiences and gamers alike, let's just say for season 1, really like the adaptation and they think, wow, it's obviously good writing and storytelling because it's an adaptation, but they're executing it very well. Do you feel like even if they make the choices that they do in the second game and they stick with those choices, but it's executed very well, that the season will still be a very good season?
Sure. I think it'll compositionally still be a good.
That's what I'm asking you.
A good
Take
season
aside
of
how
television.
you feel about the choice,
yeah,
but it can still be a good season of television.
The choice isn't wrong. Like it's not like it's just a decision that I just hate. Yeah, and I just can't.
And that's fair. It's a big decision.
People just didn't like it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It would happen the way it happened, and there's nothing compositionally wrong with the storytelling. There's no way to really. There's one way to kind of improve upon, in my opinion. But it's going to be so subjective. Yeah. But a lot of people were very upset about what happened. I'm curious to see what the reaction will be for people who haven't played the game, if they'll be as attached to certain people.
Yeah.
That was another thing I was thinking about, is like, do you get more attached playing in them in the game than you do in the show? Yeah. You spend more time with them, so kind of feels like maybe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's, I think it's a good thing it's being adapted. I think the story's great. It's just a shame that video games get looked at in a way where they're not real storytelling. And I felt this way about animation as well.
Yeah.
When people make these lifeless live action adaptations, I think you're just spitting on animation. And you're basically saying you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're not good enough.
You need
to be live action to be real and to actually be serious and be considered.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I don't like that
So, and I understand not every video games aren't for everybody, which is totally fair, and the show serves that purpose, but sometimes it does feel like either the show needs to deviate and add to, then it just needs to follow it lifelessly and do everything exactly the same. And then it's like, well, what are we doing? Just go play the game.
Yeah.
But everyone doesn't like video games, but I think that you should want to really shock your video game audience.
Yeah.
Just like you're going to be surprising your non-video game audience.
Yeah.
But that's just my 2 cents on it. I think a lot of people feel other than like me and like my brother Caden, I don't know of many other people that really share my opinion on it in terms of like wanting the show to deviate and do something different. It's one of the few times where I'm just like, no, do something absolutely divert everyone's expectations. Don't do what everyone thinks you're going to do and do it differently and change the game. And but we'll see.
Can we talk spoilers just for a minute?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit of spoilers. So if you haven't seen this, divert away. I just want to talk about, so I think with the Abby stuff in the beginning, this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but knowing how they diverted from the game, I really like that choice. I like the diversion because coming off of season 1, having set up Joel as this hero, but also playing around with the moral dilemma of what he did, this really kind of adds in this new perspective to Joel, because I think a lot of us felt like in the end him saving Ellie feels right for their relationship because he cares about her. But it opens with showing you, no, that's a choice he made. He's still a monster for what he did. And it pits this moral dilemma that I really like adding into this season, especially contrasting to what Joel's going through with therapy, his dealing with Ellie and kind of dealing with the lie. And he's internally kind of struggling with this. But ultimately, in the scene where he's with the therapist, he comes to the conclusion in tears, no, I saved her. And that's what matters. And he walks out. So Joel still feels like, I did the right thing. But you have this other angle with Abby of, he's a monster. And all of these people are dead. He's worthy to die because of this. And that's why I want vengeance. And I think it just pits this really cool scenario in this season that we don't really have in season 1, because you just feel like, yes, Joel, save her. Save her. That's what I want you to do. And so I thought that deviation, because it's not set up that way in the game, adds some layers that I really liked in the episode 1, and I think kind of elevated it.
I've never understood this argument because I just really disagree, because I just think it's a difference in perspective. I never think Joel's a monster because in the same vein, they never tell them that they're going to kill her. Mm-hmm. They don't give Ellie a choice. They're just going to kill her.
Yeah.
They don't give Joel a choice. They're going to murder her for the cause.
Yes.
Which is still wrong.
Absolutely.
So I think Joel's justified, in my opinion.
It's justified as far as to save Ellie's life, but when you're looking at the morality of it, he's still murdering a lot of people. No, it's the
divert the train to kill one person or 10 issue.
Yes.
But there's no
it's a dilemma.
Definitive, right, but there's no definitive Joel, like Abby, I get it, but at the same time, Joel's not a monster, and neither is technically Abby.
Yes.
But I don't.
So I'm kind of agreeing with you in we are just getting the perspective in season 1 of Joel's justified for saving Ellie because we want that. But I like that this just brings in the angle of, don't forget that he made a very tough moral choice to do that. And it just adds a new and interesting dynamic, I think, to the characters, especially because in this episode they're talking through him dealing with the fact that he did that, dealing with the fact of the lie. So that's why, I agree with you in season 1, we're all on board with that, and we almost feel justified. But it just adds something different into it to kind of give these characters something new to kind of work through and as character development in this season. And it's going to play out very interestingly. We'll see.
I just think, in hindsight, the organization that's going to murder a teenage girl to maybe make a cure versus the guy who stopped them from killing someone he sees as a daughter is just always not going to be in the wrong.
But you do have to admit though that it's a moral.
I don't want to get into
area.
it because this is I don't think so. I think Joel is right to do what he did. The only thing that ends up making is wrong is how Ellie feels about it. But I don't think it's wrong at all to stop people from murdering someone. They're all murderers. They're all implicated at that point.
Yeah.
They're all on board. We're gonna kill her. We're not giving either of them a choice.
Yeah.
We're not gonna tell them what we're gonna do. And maybe we get a cure. I don't think it's wrong at all.
It's what I'm more saying is I exactly see what you're saying, but you're still trading it with murder. So that's why it's a gray area as far as...
Is it not self-defense at that point?
And I don't know if I want to get into that deep into it. I mean...
I think it is.
In his scenario, in a way, like if they're going to kill him to get to... Yes, it is self-defense in that way. But it's still killing.
But he's saving Ellie.
So it's like... Do you see what I'm saying, though? Like, I'm not against you on this. I'm just saying you can understand why I've got two scenarios here. Both of them end in murder. That's why it's a dilemma. If he just saved her, it's not a dilemma. But because there's murder on both sides of it, that's the dilemma.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just this is my issue with the game is because they try and really... and I'm curious if the show will try to do this. Like, this spoilers, just don't listen to this. Like, skip, I don't know. Stop watching, because I don't think we're going to talk about it. But skip to when we talk about Daredevil more after this. But in the game, they try and redeem Abby in this way, and I just don't think you can. Because your dad was going to kill Ellie without their knowledge. Yeah. And he was going to sacrifice Ellie at the maybe possibility of a cure.
Yeah.
All on a hunch. I'm sorry. Painted like that, it's an evil decision.
Yeah.
Both ways. And Ellie doesn't have a say. Neither does Joel.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have ground to stand on. So I just don't relate to the moral. Like, yes, there is a moral dilemma.
That's all I'm asking.
But it's no freaking different than some raiders trying to kill Ellie and then Joel going and killing all the raiders.
That's a good point, actually.
It's not different. And you're totally fine with it until it's technically the good guys. So it's the same thing. It's the same moral dilemma. Joel murders people throughout the whole thing. I don't really call with that murder. Yeah. They were all going to kill her.
Yeah.
They were all a part of that. They were all going to stop him from stopping them from killing her. Mm-hmm. To me, it just never... Like, I get that they could set that up, but a lot of season 2 relies on you really feeling that, and I don't think enough people did. So it doesn't feel like they're changing it, and it's like, if you're gonna double down, whatever, I'm just not gonna like it. You don't have to make it. Don't make it for me. It's not for me. I played the game. I'm fine. Yeah. Like that, If you want it to be for me, you're gonna change it. It's not for me, though. It's not made for me. It's made for people who didn't play the game, to experience the story, in my opinion. That's why it's so, scene for scene, shot for shot the same. But I think it'd be revolutionary if it was scene for scene, shot for shot the same, and then it deviates. And it's like, no one knows what's going on now.
Yeah.
But I agree, the therapy, it's cool, and Joel can wrestle with that decision. But I think as an audience member, we can sit firm knowing he made the correct decision.
Yeah.
They were going to murder Ellie. It is twisted. I'm sorry. And yes, maybe there was a cure. Maybe not.
Yeah.
They don't know.
I just like that story element.
They were killing her on a hunch.
True. Yeah.
They didn't have, they could have not, they were just going to kill her.
Yeah.
Because they thought so. Maybe there's extra lore. But when I played the game, when I watched the show, it was a hunch. They weren't sure.
Yeah, I just like the story element of it. I think it's cool when a show can do that.
I like that Joel wrestles with it. That's what I like. I don't like.
I do like the idea of like
I'm just talking about the game at this point.
I know what you mean.
It's basically because the whole game relies the pinnacle of what the game is for you to be on that fence. And I just never was. No one I knew who played it never was teetering on the fence of who's right, who's wrong. It was like Joel is right in his decision. Abby, shut the frick up. Yeah. And that was always who, when I talked to people about it, that was always the consensus. There are going to be people who like it. There are going to be people who enjoy it and think it's brave and think the show has balls.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at this point, the show has balls if they deviate.
I think that just is a testament to people just liking the Ellie and Joel relationship so much. Because I did like the idea of pitting you with like the philosophical dilemma of one life potentially to save all of humanity that's gone through hell, or
but you murder to do it.
So it's like I know. I just think that's interesting.
I agree.
So I like that. Like even beyond, should Joel save her? It expand out. Should we sacrifice Ellie to save all of humanity? I don't say that.
Sure.
But I like that a show does that. I like that a game puts that out there to make you think about it. Just gives you the idea, because it's hard to wrestle with that in a way of it's like, man, look at what we can do for humanity, but at the cost of one. Is that right? I think it's interesting.
I'm going to go back because in the game, it's Ellie who really wrestles with that, not Joel. And I still like that more. I like Joel being who he is, being like, no, I made the right decision. And Ellie being the one that's like, was that the right decision? Should I have sacrificed myself? Should I have died? Should Joel have let me die? That to me is just more interesting.
Wait. He doesn't lie to her in the games?
He does, but I'm saying it's Joel isn't like, they're doing more turmoil with him. Like the therapy stuff is added in to show I'm like struggling with this decision I made. And yeah, I'm sure there's a case for it in the games, but it's more prominent that Joel is like, I did what I had to do for you. And Ellie's the one asking that question. Did Joel do the right thing? To me, that's just more interesting. Now that's why she's mad at Joel.
Yeah.
So they're going to do it,
way,
but I just think it's more interesting for Joel. Joel made the decision. Just let's not pull that punch and let him make it and live with it. I don't like. It's just like I don't challenge me as an audience member. I don't need you to make me feel like Joel feels bad for that. I wouldn't as a parent.
Do you feel like it's just not challenging because you played the games though?
No. I'm saying that very lightly.
Okay. Because for me, it is like it feels challenging in a way, but I don't have any game experience, so this is all. I mean, like I said, I know what happens throughout the games, but I didn't play them through.
So did you feel that way when the guy's on the road and he's like, I need help, and he's like, he ain't hurt and hits him with the car?
Wait, what? I'm trying to remember what
in the first season. Guy
comes out of the road. Yeah.
He's a scavenger. And they're raiding them.
Yeah.
But the intent is to murder them.
Yeah.
And he kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that different than the Fireflies going to kill Ellie for the cure?
Well, yes, because of the overall dilemma, not just the single moment. That's why it's a bigger moment.
If they die, they feed a village of people.
Yeah, but we're talking about the human race, cure for the human race. I know. It's just it's different because the cure for the human race is the dilemma there. So yeah,
right. But that's different. Joel. That's Ellie's struggle, not Joel's.
In the game,
it shouldn't be Joel's.
Why can't it be Joel's?
Because Joel's thinking about the now. He's thinking about life with Ellie. He's not thinking about the future.
He's also thinking about, I lied to her and I have to wrestle with that.
But not wrestle with, I could have saved the world.
I don't think he's necessarily wrestling with that in the show. I didn't feel that.
That's what I thought you were saying.
No. Okay. I feel like he's wrestling with lying to Ellie about it.
Okay. Yes, he is. You're correct. I thought you were saying Joel is wrestling with basically not having a cure for the world. And I have reference in the show. He's like, stop letting people in. That's evidence that he doesn't care about the rest of the world. He cares about his people.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
I thought this entire time you were saying that Joel was wrestling with the fact that he didn't let them make a cure.
No, that's not at all. Only with the fact that he lied to Ellie.
Then this is all
because of this relationship and what they're showing up.
You're absolutely correct. This is exactly how they get.
And that's why I think that scene with the therapist is so good, because I was thinking he's going to admit it to her. He's going to admit that I lied to her. He never thought he was going to talk about, I wish I didn't do that. He was going to admit to her that I've lied, and that's why. And when he wells up and he still says, I saved her. That's why I'm like, oh, that's such a good moment for him as a character, because all he cares about is Ellie in that moment, and he still comes to that conclusion of, I should have saved her. I did, and that's the right decision. So yeah, no, it's just lying to her.
All right, yeah, sweet. You ready? Born Again?
Let's talk about it.
You want to score it?
The whole show or just the episode?
I think we should score the episode, since we've done it every time.
Yeah, so we'll score the episode. You want to do the whole show too?
Sure.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I've been locked in at where I was going to score it the whole time.
I'm conflicted, to be honest with you.
Wow. All right.
This episode... Yeah, I'm good for this episode.
Yeah.
Count us down.
Our scores for Daredevil Born Again, episode 8, 3, 2, 1, 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Say that one more time. It's episode 9.
Our scores for Daredevil Born Again, episode 9.
3, 2, 1, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's where I felt. Good episode. Not as strong as last episode. Struggled with a couple things. But I do feel like they carried through some of the character development that we did in the last episode. I don't think they necessarily executed all of it the best they could have, but it does still feel like a continuation from the last episode. So a lot of what I liked in episode carried through. And so I think that's why I'm a little bit higher on that. But some of the choices they made towards the end, I'm just a little underwhelmed, I guess I could say. And kind of not... I'm a little dissatisfied with it, if I should say that.
Yeah.
But I do think it has some really good moments. I think the characters have some good moments. And overall, I think it's a good episode. I can definitely think of some worst episodes this season. So that's why I kind of put it 7 out of 10.
Yeah. They're definitely just... I basically really like the first half.
I think the first half is great.
Yeah. And I kind of take issue with some of the decisions in the second half, and there's some decisions up front that bother me. Can we get into them?
Yeah, let's just talk spoilers. I mean, this is... I don't think we can really get around it in this episode. Yeah. This is the finale. This is where all the spoiler stuff's going to happen. So.
Yeah. Why did Vanessa need Poindexter to be the one to kill Foggy in The Witness?
Yeah, there's the line where she says, you're the best to do this. But for a hit at a bar on the street, I don't know why she needs Poindexter.
Yeah, it's kind of, to me, a little lazy. So, there's not a real reason to bring him in.
Yeah, I kept hoping that we were missing something.
Yeah.
And that it was going to play more into it, that there was a reason for him, but they don't ever go anywhere with it.
I really thought it was like, we need you to make the accurate shot that basically like puts Foggy in some weird state of shock to where he appears dead or something like that to explain why it needs to be him. Could have been anybody with a gun. Could have been a drive-by.
Yeah, and it just...
And
that's how the episode opened. Like, I remember after that scene, I was just like, oh, that's it? So... There's nothing more interesting than that?
Yeah, and basically she's like, I'll let you out of this psych ward.
If you do this.
And then go back to jail?
Like, what? And that's it. Like, that's...
And that doesn't implicate Vanessa more in the crimes?
Yeah, because
she gets Poindexter appealed and released?
Yeah.
And then he goes off and kills Foggy?
Like, not that long after? from my assumption.
Yeah.
I would think people would
That doesn't
wonder.
shine more light on what you're doing? Lazy?
I guess it's before Fisk is mayor, so maybe there's not that many eyes on her. Maybe I'm stretching there. I'm trying to give it some credit.
Know what? I can solve this right now. First thing any smart person is going to do is they're going to go, okay, why is he out of jail?
Yeah.
Okay, he got appealed. Who appealed him? Okay, maybe that's some weird like connections. You're telling me you're not going to look and see,
Vanessa Fisk.
someone visited him at the psych ward.
A day before he left.
There's security cameras at the psych ward. Guess what? Nobody go in there, but maybe they turned them off. You didn't see them turn them off. They didn't have a line in there to suggest that, so that might as well not have happened.
Yeah, there's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there to suggest that. It's a plot hole unless you explain it. So I'm sorry. Like, I just can feel like I see people like, maybe they turned it, maybe they like, you don't. Yeah, the fact that you're having to say maybe is the problem.
You're adding context.
That's the problem with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're saying maybe, like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just underwhelming.
It's kind of lame.
I like once that scene ended, I mean, I looked at you and I was like, that's it? Like, I was expecting Poindexter to have a more intricate purpose than to just be the hired gun.
Stupid.
And so I did think that was kind of interesting. That's probably the part in the first half that I didn't really like. Everything else in the first half I think I did really like. I think the stuff with the Punisher works sometimes, and other times it's just an interesting choice. I think the first sequence when he shows them the apartment is so good. It's so great. When he's just standing there, their dialogue back and forth is just incredible. Just when he's calling him Red and he's got the quippy lines and he's like, somebody called me. I just think, that's really good. That whole scene, the fight sequence, very good between them. Beyond that, the Punisher kind of does some interesting things. I feel like you probably would have more interesting things to say about that because I like kind of some of the stuff that you said a little bit about the Punisher at the end.
You remind me about
what you were saying?
Yeah.
Just about the stuff in the warehouse.
Oh, okay, we're jumping there.
We don't have to yet. We can kind of get there. That's why I said, I just think when we get there, you probably have some more interesting things to say than I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it, a lot of the stuff in the apartment's really cool. I don't want to, like, nitpick it, because I do feel like I'm nitpicking it. It doesn't feel like the Punisher, like, when he's, like, diving across tables. Like, there's elements of it, but it's a little bit, I don't know.
He's a little overdone.
It's a little over stylized for him, at least.
It's also shot in like slow mo.
Yeah, so that's what I was like, kind of. And there's slow mo shots. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh, there's slow." I get
there
it.
There is, yeah. But like the whole scene was.
Yeah,
like mostly
right. So, but I like the emotional weight of the scene and what it ends up leading to, which is the officer that killed
Hector.
Right.
I did like that payoff. When we saw that, I thought, that's a really good way to connect that in. I did feel that. I was like, that makes sense. I kind of forgot about that. And so I liked that adding. It was a little convenient that he didn't die, but maybe that's a nitpick, I would say.
Yeah, I also
like he was marking everyone else. Cole just happens to not get shot. You know what I mean? He throws the blade into his. I'm just like, it's a little convenient, but
that didn't go into his face.
It's a nitpick, like
yeah.
But it was cool for the moment.
Sure. It was kind of felt out of place for Frank to be like, "Do it, Red, do it, kill him, Red." I just feel like the Punisher would just shoot him. Like.
I mean, I will say that the
I know they set that up. Like, I understand that setup.
That's the dichotomy between them.
Yeah.
He's like, Red, you aren't willing to do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
This guy killed Hector. You got to just step up and do it.
I think it just shocked me in the moment. Yeah. I'm not going to complain about it. I think it just shocked me when he said it.
Yeah.
Because you just don't hear that a lot coming from a protagonist.
Yes. True.
But weird cuts.
Noticeable.
That do not flow together.
Like at least twice, maybe 3 times in this episode.
Like at all.
It like the one in the apartment almost felt like a skip. Do you know what I mean? It felt like, because it's like a shot of Frank and it backs up.
He's moving backwards and then he's moving forward.
And then it moves forward. And it almost feels like a skip or something. And I kind of wondered, and then we backed it up and I was like, oh no, it's just the shot. And there's a couple moments in the series or this episode that are like that.
Yeah. Weird things like who threw the grenade? Why? Like, is it not like...
All we do is hear it.
Which is fine.
Where'd it come from? Because technically Cole's
But like,
out.
why wouldn't you show it? You know, like...
I would think you would.
Yeah, but it's not like a big deal. Like, it's fine that Daredevil hears it. Like, I think that's just cool.
Yeah. You don't have to see it. He just hears it. I think it's fine.
It's fine. It's just one of those things where it's like, why did you not... Who threw the grenade? I'd be curious about that.
Because isn't everyone dead in the apartment? Cole's knocked out.
Oh, Cole's so dead.
Oh, he is. Well, after it blows up.
Yeah, when
the grenade happens...
What's the dilemma on not killing him, but then letting him getting blown, like running away from a grenade that kills? It's different. I get it.
It is, yeah. So it wouldn't have been Cole, I don't think, because he's knocked out and everyone else is dead.
Maybe I thought it was Cole because it seemed like he was coming around. Maybe I have no idea.
Just right before the grenade, though, that's when Daredevil knocks him out.
He hits him.
He's out cold, dude.
Maybe.
I would be shocked if
you don't know. You never see him ever again after he gets hit.
I guess so. Maybe he wakes up 15 seconds after he gets knocked out cold. I don't know. It could be Cole. Whatever. I don't think it's Cole.
Here's why I think he was awake. I think Daredevil would not contemplate killing him the way he might have if he was awake. If he was out. I think they would do it with him looking at him. So that's why I thought he woke back up.
It's just when he hits him, he clearly like goes limp.
I mean, yeah.
And he doesn't look back up. So I think that's pretty clear that he knocked him out. I just thought that Daredevil in that moment was just like, you just got the adrenaline. He's mad. He knows that he killed Hector. So yeah, he's going through that dilemma. Should I just do it?
I think he's wrestling with killing him though.
Yes, I think so too. But I don't think Hector, Cole being like limp and knocked out versus looking up at him is a difference in that. That's just what I would think.
Sure.
But yeah, it is an interesting choice not to show the grenade, and then they jump out the window. But I do think the apartment stuff, I do like all of that. I mean, action's pretty cool. It's a little interesting how they choose the style, but I think it works. I think I would be nitpicking some of the little stuff.
I love Karen. Karen's back.
Karen back is great.
She's great.
Oh my gosh. Get rid of Heather, dude.
I know.
Out of here.
Heather, get out of here.
Heather, you know
Heather's the worst.
She just really is the worst.
You're the worst.
In one scene with Karen, I'm just like, bye, Heather.
She's the worst. Heather.
And she's a traitor. Traitorous wench as well, joining Fisk and his little merry band of...
I can't. Yeah, she's so annoying. Bye.
Just her lines are annoying too.
Clearly.
Like, what does she say? I can't remember
Clearly,
what she says.
He has better chemistry with Karen than Heather.
Oh, clearly. I wanted them to kiss so bad.
I know.
When they're like in that little scene, I'm like, just get back together. Just do it. It works.
Yeah. So my issue with the Punisher, can we get into that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What the heck was Frank's plan?
Walking into that warehouse.
By himself with no guns. How did he think that was going to go?
Because he came from his hideout.
Yep.
Where he heard the radio.
All the time to prepare.
Where there's P90s up on his wall.
Yup.
But he shows up with... nothing?
And he gets on the walkie. It says we're meeting up at the Red Hook, or was that what it's called?
Yeah, Red Hook. Yeah.
So he knows there's going to be a lot of them there.
Yeah, there's a whole task force out there on the streets. Like he knows that there's a lot of them out there. I don't know why. It's not clearly implied that he's trying to get caught if he is. It's just he shows up and he's just going to try to plow through him and wreck house and he gets captured. and is getting beaten. I think for the idea of like the task force respecting him, I think that's cool that they don't kill him, and he has some moments with them and says you're a bunch of clowns. I think that's great. But like, why would Frank get captured? Why would he not come in with a shotgun? Why would he not?
He brings nothing.
He would plow through them, I would think. So I don't know what the choice is there, because there's no clear distinction of I was trying to get caught.
Yeah.
So he just went in with nothing and is just not as cool. Just doesn't fight as well. Like,
yeah.
He's not as prepared. Punisher is prepared, so that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I'm going to say I don't really like that convo with I really don't like the convo with the Vigilante Task Force. It is just a rehash of conversations Punisher's already had in the show.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't really care for it. Like, yeah, him calling them clowns, but like, you don't know pain, you don't know my loss, like, you don't know what I go through every day.
Well, we know that.
Yeah, you know what? He also said that when he was banging Billy Russo's face against a mirror. Yeah. You're gonna know pain. You're gonna know loss. Like, come on. Yes. It's just like, I just don't know. I feel like we were just kind of redoing that.
Do you feel like they were doing that just to like reintroduce his pain to new audiences?
Sure.
So it's like I see why you would do that, but it is a rehash, and I don't really want that. Like, I don't need that.
Well, I think if you
I also just could care less about the task force.
Yeah.
I think none of those characters are interesting. Cole's not interesting. The main guy he's talking to, I could just care less. So any of that stuff that they're in, I'm just like, I just want to see you die.
Right. Let's talk about the task force. So they multiplied.
Yeah. There's now hundreds of them.
There seemingly hundreds, maybe 100.
Because in the episode where they first show up, there's like 8 people in that little like garage? Like 12?
15, 20.
Okay.
I'm overestimating. Like, I'm being high.
Now they're just on the streets everywhere.
Everywhere.
And they all have Punisher skulls on their chest. That's not alarming at all, I would think, to the public. That does feel a little weird. So yeah, they've just multiplied. Fisk now has an army of them.
Yeah. Why capture Frank just to show his escape as an end credit scene? Like, what was the point of that?
You know what it felt like? It felt like they were going for Frank's captured, and then they realized, oh wait, we have a Punisher special. He can't be in a cage, so let's get him out.
That's hilarious.
That's what
I think you're right.
I think I am, because they were like, oh shoot, we're doing a Punisher special. He can't be in a cage. I'm not going to continue the Daredevil story. We got to get him out somehow. That's what I thought.
Maybe that is setting up the Punisher special.
Could be.
If that is, I think that's fine.
You know what? I bet you're right about the task force take. And the Punisher special is him going back and taking out the task force after being captured and beating the crap out of him.
Yeah, I didn't think about that at all, because we were literally like, what was the purpose of that? Why half do Frank's captured? I like that so much more now. I don't like him walking in blind or whatever, but like the decision I wasn't really on board with like the mid-credit scene to have him escape. I was like, what's the point of that? It's totally for the special.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine. I like that more.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's going to tie into this.
Why would you not do Punisher Returning and Punisher Special on the title like right after that to get that across?
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Punisher's returning in the special.
Yeah.
And whatever the date is that they're releasing it or something like that. That'd be cool.
That would have made sense to me. I'd be like, oh yeah, the special.
Yeah.
Instead I was like, so he's captured, they use it to like tie off their story, and then psych, he's not?
Not, yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think that you were making it like, oh, we forgot. I do think that if they are...
I think there's a purpose to it, yeah.
Yeah, the purpose would be because of the special. So that's better. That's a lot better. Let's talk about the biggest miss in this episode of all time.
Wow. Yeah.
This episode misses so hard. Dude, I was getting so hyped when he was like, "We need to."
My heart was racing,
an
dude.
army.
My heart was racing.
Like, "Oh my word!" When those doors start opening at the end, I'm like, "We're about to see Luke Cage. We're about to see Jessica Jones, and we're gonna see Iron Fist." Even though we don't like Finn Jones, I wouldn't have given a crap.
Lost it.
I would be like, "The Defenders, let's
back.
freaking go!" No,
It's 3 beat cops.
Yeah.
It's Cherry and the other cop who plays in like episode 5. I can't remember her name. And Karen.
I'm taking Karen over all those people.
Well, true, yeah.
Karen killed Wesley.
That's right. And that's our army to fight Fisk.
As of right now.
When those doors opened, all I was thinking, I was looking at that bar, waiting for somebody to be sitting there. The one that I was thinking of was to see a guy sitting there with his hood up, and for it to pan in, and for him to stand up and turn around, and it was Luke Cage. That's what I was waiting for.
Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. And they didn't freaking do it.
Yeah, where are the Defenders?
What a miss. There's just no other superheroes in New York, apparently. It's just beat cops and Daredevil.
Yeah.
Come on. That was your shot.
Everyone was talking about, I saw everyone's talking about Spider-Man. Why is it Spider-Man? Like, we need Spider-Man to be a part of the season 2. No, we need the Defenders.
No.
That's literally their story.
Absolutely.
That's literally what they do.
Yes.
So you need to do the Defenders now. What I would, like, we were talking about recasting some people. I wouldn't have given a crap if all of the Defenders
showed
were there.
up.
That would have been so sick. It would have made so much sense.
And so much hype.
Oh my gosh.
So much hype for season 2. Imagine we get Luke Cage, we get Finn Jones, or Iron Fist, we get like Jessica Jones. They all show up and it cuts. Dude, we'd be so pumped for season 2. Because it would be them, Poindexter's out there on the loose, Fisk has got his army. We'd have so many sick sequences with them. What a miss. Now maybe they just couldn't get the actors back. Maybe they wanted to do that. But my heart was racing when those doors opened. I was like, this is it, dude. They're going to show us. And it didn't happen. I would have lost it.
I would have been so pumped.
Yes.
No Defenders for us.
Yeah. I still think maybe they could do it. I think they missed a chance to build the hype for it, but I think there's a world where if they did get the actors back, they do introduce it in like the opening, like episode 1.
Yeah.
I think there's still a world where they could do it. I just think this would have been the best time to do it because he says we're building an army, and they open the doors like it's a big reveal. So it could happen, but I don't know. I almost lean towards we're not going to do it.
What's funny is we have people in our comments being like, "It's all canon. They can't recast anybody." When we're talking about recasting some people, and now people are gonna be like, "It's not canon." Like, get over the Defenders, or maybe aren't even real. All right, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I think it'd be cool.
I would have loved that. They actually need to explain that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Why would Daredevil not? Because this is a direct continuation. So why would he not call them? That's kind of to your point about like Doctor Strange, like the MCU stuff. Like, why not call the Avengers? Like, what's the point? Because we know they're established. So why would he not call the Defenders if New York is in freaking martial law?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. What a mess.
The most unrealistic part of this episode is no one has a camera. No one on their camera phone records these cops just shooting people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That one scene where he's like, it's just a kid. He's like,
dude,
no,
that
it's not.
was so dumb.
So dumb. I didn't like that scene at all.
It's a mass vigilante.
It's a mass vigilante. He puts his hood over his eyes.
It's a beanie.
Or beanie, yeah. Like, what?
I think it's so stupid.
You're trying to pit him out to be the bad guys. I get it.
I was fine with shooting him. Like, that guy shooting him. I thought they had the cause to do that for looting. Like, that was us showing the vigilante task force was, like, drunk with power.
Yeah.
But then the vigilante excuse was so stupid. Like, just stick to that.
We already know that you're hunting
He's a criminal, whatever.
We get it.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat us over the head.
He had a crowbar in his hand. You had all the ammunition. You had all the stuff you could have to justify that on the back end and lying. For lying. And then the vigilante thing is stupid.
It's just whatever. That's why I say I don't like any really of the task force stuff. I just don't think it works for me really at all throughout the show. And in this one, it still just doesn't really work very well.
How would you rank this season in the other seasons? Well, let's rank the season.
Okay, I think I'm good for a rating for the season. Okay. This is our rating for Daredevil Born Again Season 1. 3, 2, 1.
7 out of 10.
That's what I thought.
6 out of 10 feels wrong. I feel like it earned it, though.
Yeah.
I
Personally,
think
I
so
think if
much
somebody
good.
said 6 out of 10, I would have no way to argue with them.
Yeah, but I think 7 out of 10, there's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of good stuff in here.
There's enough really good moments.
Top Daredevil moments in here, but...
Some really good there's some great Daredevil Punisher moments, chemistry there. In the show, not just in this episode, but in the show. There's some really good Fisk and Daredevil moments. Fisk is a little wishy-washy for me throughout the season, but he still does have some good moments too. So there is a lot to like here, and I can see why people would really love this season. There's just enough things here that I didn't like or are underwhelming to me to bring it to a 7 out of 10. I don't think I can bring it to like an 8 or 9. It's just not. Overall, it has cool moments, but it's a little underwhelming.
Yeah. I think if you took out episodes 5, 6, and 7, that's the same,
I think this is a tighter story. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, take out episodes 5, 6, and 7, condense it down to a 3-hour movie.
Muse doesn't play any part in these last two episodes.
Condense down to a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Someone make that cut, please.
Then Daredevil Born Again can be a movie, and then season 2 can be Daredevil season 4.
Yeah.
I think some of the storylines would benefit from being in a tighter, more shorter form storytelling mechanic or whatever.
Yeah.
I think like dueling some of the Hector Ayala stuff, like you could literally duel episode 2 with the trial, like him going through the trial, and then Matt being like, we're not going to win, we need to find the witness, go find the witness, bringing him in the next day, and then him flop, and then da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunity for overlap to make the story way tighter and to tell it in less amount of time.
Yeah.
And I think if you took episodes 1 through 4 and then 8 and 9, I think that 5 is fine. It's just so different tonally.
Yeah.
But you take them, make them their own thing.
Yeah.
Move on. And then do season 4. That's what I would do. But you know what? They don't pay me the money.
They don't call you or me.
They don't call me for opinions, and there's a reason, because
they really should.
I have terrible ideas. But I just think that, 7 out of 10, man. It's fun. It's a good time. Is it disappointing? Yes. Yeah. It's absolutely disappointing. Does that mean it's terrible? No. Is it disappointing because it's following the greatest season of television of all time? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. In what universe does Disney have more money than Netflix and the ability to, have more money than Netflix but not be able to tell a more interesting, comparable story? I just want comparable. Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be better.
No, better.
I'd love it to be better.
Better season 1 level, maybe a little bit under. I gave it a point under season 2, but yeah. Does this fall? Is this number 4 for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. 4 for me. Daredevil Born Again season 4, season 2, season 1 and 3, and then you were flipping 3 and 2. Yeah. 2. Yeah.
So it'd be 4, 1, 3, 2.
Yeah.
2 is my favorite. Yeah, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. Honestly, I think if I think about this more, it may come down a little bit. I don't think it would go up ever. I don't think I would think about this season more and it go to an 8. I think I could see it at a 6.
I can't imagine rewatching it.
I don't really have Yeah, I don't have a desire to.
Like, I'm thinking, like, I will definitely rewatch Daredevil's seasons 1 through 3 in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I struggle to find a reason to watch 5, 6, and 7 episodes.
I would probably skip them.
Yeah.
If I did rewatch through, I'd probably just skip those episodes, especially because they're not very consequential for episodes 8 and 9.
The only thing it does for the story is Heather to be a butthead.
Yeah, she just turns into an absolute just awful.
That's the only thing it does.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's the least of the seasons, but we do still have some good moments. I will say, now that we're out of the reshoots, going into season 2, I am still excited because I think from what I know, from what the good stuff is in this season, if we can get that and have a cohesive season 2, I think it could be really good. So I am excited to kind of see where that goes. So the show might be the lowest, but based on just kind of the discourse around it, I am still excited for season 2 of Born Again because I think it could, what works in season 1 could carry to season 2 very well. Are you excited for season 2?
Yeah, I'm pumped.
You still, yeah.
I want to see that Punisher special. That's actually got me liking that mid-credit scene so much more. I was very upset with it in the beginning. I'm more upset that Frank walked in there with no plan.
Yeah, that is the biggest.
We're talking about a guy who taped a knife. Daredevil walked in to that warehouse with all those cops without a plan when he had all the time to prepare that he would have wanted to. They're talking about the same guy in Punisher season 1 taped a knife to the left underside of a chair because he knew they would unclip his hands at some point. He would get captured and get tortured at some point, and they would unbind his hands so he could put in a security code and on a computer to stop a video from loading on the internet. So then he grabs a knife and stabs the guy. Like, that's the level of planning this guy does, and he just walks in.
Yeah, doesn't serve the character very well at all.
But I still think John Bernthal is the man.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for the special.
He's so awesome.
And everything he said about the special gets me excited, too. Just talking about how this is it's brutal. It's true to the character. He wouldn't have done it if he didn't feel like it was. So I'm on board.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good special. I'm pretty confident. Just because I trust how much he cares about the character and how much he loves playing the character, that he would not have accepted a script for this special presentation if it wasn't something good that he felt like was true to the character. So I'm absolutely on board for it. That's it, dude. Daredevil is over. Man, it has felt like a long one. I know it's because we've been doing the podcast and stuff, but it's felt like a long season. But it's only been 9 episodes. It's been a roller coaster. That's what I'll say.
Favorite thing about the podcast? Go.
Favorite thing about the podcast? Do you mean in the podcast as we're doing it, or just
Go for it.
Overall?
Either one.
I mean, it's been cool to interact with some sweet people.
Garrett and Blake.
I'm going to say it.
Duck takes.
I think it's super cool.
They're sick.
Because, what did I say on the podcast? I said the things I want to do most, the dreams, is to collab with content creators. Yeah. And having just people that, we have watched and really like their stuff and, really respect, just see it and be like, hey, this is cool. I like what you're doing. I think that's so sick. It's such a, cool experience because we're just having fun doing it. We're seeing a lot of engagement. We're seeing a lot of people like what we're doing. They like the quality. And it's just cool to also see other creators in the space, just see it, just to know that they looked at it is, I think, super validating, super cool. So
very cool.
Because we've had quite a few people reach out, not just them, but just other brands and things, clearly Bureau, who've just seen our stuff and was hey, it's really cool what you're doing. And I love that. So that's been kind of the most fun part of it. And I'm excited to see kind of what the future holds with that, And it's been a really fun experience. And I just like talking about movies, man. That's why I'm doing this. But yeah.
Well, enjoy your Friday, people.
Yes.
A little bit. We're going to be probably moving to 1 episode a week.
Yeah. Because we've been doing Daredevil. We've been doing another one as well.
While we, whether that episode is 2 hours or a little bit longer, we'll feel it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're it's just easier for us.
Yeah, it's a little easier for us.
But yeah, so that's probably the plan going forward. We have a Discord. Please join.
Absolutely.
We like to chat in there. We're going to get better about doing polls and questions and things like that. And Instagram,
TikTok. We haven't talked about that on the podcast. But we crossed over 1,000.
Yeah, we did over 1,000 on TikTok. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's so cool. Because we had been talking about that number a lot of hitting 1,000, and we've hit it very quickly. And it's so cool to see just that growth and people engaging. So yeah, shout out TikTok.
Woo woo.
Heck over 1,000. But yeah, follow us on all of those. We're slowly uploading on Spotify. I'm a little behind.
Takes so long.
We're having a little. It's a little harder to export and put things on Spotify, but we are getting caught up on that. So check us out there if you just want to listen. I guess you can watch on there now too, which is cool. Yeah. Sweet. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week. We'll be talking Last of Us, some other fun stuff, seeing movies. Yeah. Movies are going to pick up, but have a good weekend. That's a wrap, baby.